Good day, today's topic is Anti-Fraud 101. Learning objectives. After today's lesson, your take-back would be basic understanding of fraud, with the mindset of anti-fraud so that not to be a victim of an easy target of fraudsters. The first highlight of why anti-fraud is everyone's business. The importance of fraud awareness as it concerns not only the company, but also you and me. Followed by knowing the fraudsters' modus operandi companies facing, including the cybercrime. Learning some red flags and data analytics of patterns for effective fraud detection.
Why anti-fraud is everyone's business.
1 in 3 Singapore consumers victims of card fraud. Singapore has the 6th highest rate of card fraud globally. The 2016 ACI Worldwide Global Consumer Card Fraud Survey, conducted in March, polled 6,035 consumers from 20 countries. 6 are in the Asia-Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, India, Indonesia, Singapore and Thailand. Globally, Mexico took the top spot with the highest fraud rate at 56%, followed by Brazil with 49% and the United States with 47%. The study looks at 5 risky behaviors: leaving a smartphone unlocked when not in use, shopping or banking online without security software, writing the PIN on the card, responding to email or calls asking for banking information. Most of the web is invisible to Google. To understand how credit card fraud happen, firstly, we must look inside the backdrop behind the World Wide Web, www. In a nutshell, the www is like an iceberg. At the tip of the iceberg is called surface web, made up 4% of the web, such as browser of Google, MSN, Yahoo, Wikipedia, which are indexed and searchable available to the public. Nonetheless, most of the web is invisible to Google, where 90% of the big data information are stored inside the deep web, non-indexed and inaccessible, including records, documents, information across public and private companies, financial institutions, hospitals, academic, government bodies. And the dark web, made up 6% of the web, which is accessible through anonymity network or browsers such as Tor, the Onion router, where illegal transactions are taking place. Tor, originally short for the Onion router, began life as a U.S. Navy project for anonymous online activity but is now used by a wide range of groups, including the military, journalists, bloggers, activists, and, yes, criminals. Tor makes communications harder to trace through traffic analysis by routing internet activity through a series of network nodes, each ignorant of the whole route from beginning to end. The dark web illegal transactions. 1. Drugs. Individual or dealer-level quantities of illicit and prescription drugs of every type are available in the digital underground. The Silk Road, the now shuttered drug superstore, did $200 million of business in 28 months. 2. Counterfeit currency. Fake money varies widely in quality and cost, but euros, pounds, and yen are all available. $600 gets you $2,500 in counterfeit US notes, promised to pass the typical pen and ultraviolet light tests. 3. Stolen credit card numbers. 4. Forged papers. Passports, driver's licenses, citizenship papers, fake IDs, college diplomas, immigration documents, and even diplomatic ID cards are available on illicit marketplaces such as Onion Identity Services. A U.S. driver's license costs approximately $200, while passports from the U.S. or UK sell for a few $1,000s. 5. Firearms, ammunition, and explosives. Weapons such as handguns and C4 explosives are procurable on the dark web. Vendors ship their products in specially shielded packages to avoid X-rays or send weapons components hidden in toys, musical instruments, or electronics. 6. Hitmen. Service providers for everything from private grudges to political assassinations. These hired guns accept Bitcoin as payment and provide photographic proof of the deed. 7. Human organs. In the darker corners of the dark web, a vibrant and gruesome black market for live organs thrives. Things that make internet crime work. 1. Cryptocurrency. Digital cash, such as Bitcoin and Darkcoin, and the payment system Liberty Reserve provide a convenient system for users to spend money online while keeping their real-world identities hidden. 2. Bulletproof web hosting services. Some web hosts welcome all content, make no attempts to learn their customers' true identities, accept anonymous payments in Bitcoin, and routinely ignore subpoena requests from law enforcement. 3. Cloud computing. By hosting their criminal malware with reputable firms, hackers are much less likely to see their traffic blocked by security systems. A recent study suggested that 16% of the world's malware and cyber attack distribution channels originated in the Amazon cloud. 4. Crimeware. Less skilled criminals can buy all the tools they need to identify system vulnerabilities, commit identity theft, compromise servers, and steal data. It was a hacker with just such a toolkit who invaded Target's point-of-sale system in 2013. 5. Hackers for hire. Organized cybercrime syndicates outsource hackers for hire. 100 professional cyber thieves, some of whom are known to have penetrated systems at Google, Adobe, and Lockheed Martin. 6. Multilingual crime call centers. Crooks who make a living via identity theft schemes, dating scams, and other con games often run into trouble when presented with a phone-based challenge that requires them to demonstrate mastery of a language they don't speak fluently. Enter the criminal call center, which allows scammers to outsource those calls to multilingual men and women who can be hired to close the deal. Data breach case study. Sonic Drive-In, a fast food chain with nearly 3,600 locations across 45 U.S. states, has acknowledged a breach affecting an unknown number of store payment systems. The ongoing breach may have led to a fire sale on millions of stolen credit and debit card accounts that are now being peddled in shadowy underground cybercrime stores. Source: Krebs on Security. Fire to Jar data breach at Joker's stash. 5 million pieces, almost all USA states, 100% fresh, 100% fire dumps. Dumps available for sale on Joker's stash from the Fire Tiger base, which has been linked to a breach at Sonic Drive-In. Source: Krebs on Security. Credit thieves love giving to charity. Cybercriminals launched automated attacks, interactive chatbot, to automate verification of large number of stolen credit card numbers. 2 New Zealand charities' online donation systems used by cybercriminals to validate credit card details, January 2015. Among 50,000 attempts, 2,000 successful fake donations, the charities refunded the fraudulent payments. They also spent time dealing with inquiries from cardholders around the world questioning the transactions. Fraudsters made 11,000 online donation payment requests, 250 successful donations made. Credit card testing was 200% up in the first 4 months of 2017. 2016, fraud also up 30% year-over-year. Source: Radial's e-commerce fraud technology lab.
Charity fraud is the act of using deception to get money from people who believe they are making donations to charities, which are non-existent charity or non-authorized collection for donations. Deceitful business acts include businesses accepting donations and misuse of donated money not for charity purposes.
130,000 euro fake donations. Quoted from Jack and Jill. In the last month and a half we have received and refunded over €130,000 via credit card donations which have been scammed from private credit cards, with individual amounts ranging from 2 cents up to €3,000, with the majority of donations under €5. These criminals use Jack and Jill and other charity websites to test and verify that the details are still active on the card they have stolen so that they can use it for further, bigger fraudulent transactions or sell it on to other criminals. They were made from skimmed cards linked to financial institutions in countries such as Luxembourg, Venezuela, South Korea, Puerto Rico, Italy, and Ireland. We've alerted the authorities about this, as well as providing rebates on more than 1,000 fraudulent payments, marking each piece of correspondence with the words fraud alert. This has taken a huge amount of time in administration, which has been the real cost to Jack and Jill. Money laundering. The charity is legally liable to refund the fraudulent payments of donations of stolen compromised credit card numbers by fraudsters, in addition to having unwittingly been involved in money laundering. In a recent scheme described in a previously unreported federal court case, someone in Florida bought 45,000 gift cards for Walmart and other stores with stolen card info and then sold them on gift card exchange site Raise.com. The gift cards' face value ranged from $2 to $2,000 each and were sold for a total of $9 million on Raise. Raise has facilitated the sale of almost $1 billion in gift cards since it was founded in 2013. Credit card validity testing fraud red flags. Small value high volume credit card validity testing schemes via botnets. Multiple credit card donations in a short period of time. Excessive failed authorization notifications. Charities should also look out for unusually large donations or any complex terms and conditions, especially another charity is involved, and be wary of donations made in foreign currencies. PwC Global State of Information Security Survey 2017 Singapore Highlight 2016 to 2017. Phishing attack 42%. Phishing, a type of email attack that attempts to convince a user that the originator is genuine, but with the intention of obtaining information for use in social engineering. Phishing is a broader term for any attempt to trick victims into sharing sensitive information such as passwords, usernames, and credit card details for malicious reasons. The attackers often disguise themselves as a trustworthy entity and make contact with their target via email, social media, phone calls, often called phishing for voice phishing, and even text messages, often called smishing for SMS phishing. Mobile app exploited 34%. Smartphone exploited 31%. Survey showed data breach on 40% of employee records, 35% of customer records, 27% business email, 24% loss or damage of internal records, 21% ransomware implanted on systems, and 21% brand/reputation impacted. ISACA and RSA Conference Survey, State of Cybersecurity Implications for 2016, Successful Attack Types Exploited in Organization 2015. Phishing 60%. Malware 52%. Social engineering 41%. Loss of mobile device 34%. Email scammer fake online tax refund prompted victim to click scammer phishing link. Do not response immediate upon email received. Pay special attention to the email sender address. Always ensure the sender email address is the official internet website URL email address. What is fraud? Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, ACFE, definition. The use of one's occupation for personal enrichment through the deliberate misuse or misappropriation of the employing organization's resources or assets. Fraud is a false representation of a material nature. Knowledge that the representation is false. The person receiving the representation reasonably and justifiably relied on it. Financial damages resulting from the above. For example, a purchasing manager creating a cell company and billed a company A with fictitious invoices for payments of non-existent goods and services, so the purchasing manager creating the false representation of the cell company and recorded in the company A, the payment of the non-existent goods and services is a loss to the company A. A criminologist, Donald R. Cressy, developed fraud triangle to understand occupational fraud in 1950s. Red flags for further investigations. The fraud triangle helps encapsulate the events or conditions that influence the commission of a fraud. Conditions for people commit fraud. Pressure. Most of the time, due to dire straits, financial difficulties such as heavily in debt unable to resolve through legitimate ways. However, there are some situations where the pressure to commit fraud comes simply from an excessive level of greed of the fraudster. While an organization does not have a lot of control over this area, being aware of the pressures that may exist will help to identify the red flags that indicate the possibility of fraud. Examples of pressures commonly lead to fraud. Inability to pay one's bills. Drug or gambling addiction. Need to meet earnings to sustain investor confidence. Need to meet productivity targets at work. Desire for status symbols such as bigger house, car, etc. Opportunity. Perceived opportunity. The person must see some way he can use or abuse his position of trust to solve his financial problem with a low perceived risk of getting caught. This is the area of the fraud triangle where opportunities have the most control. Opportunity allows for the ability to commit fraud. Most opportunities are seized through authority. Limiting the opportunity for fraud to occur is a key method an organization can use to reduce the fraud risk. Rationalization. Vast majority of fraudsters are first-time offenders with no criminal past record. They do not view themselves as criminals. They see themselves as ordinary, honest people who are caught in a bad set of circumstances. The fraudster justifies the crime to himself in a way makes it an acceptable or justifiable act. From the ACFE Occupational Fraud 2017, a report to the nation's Asia-Pacific region, fraud mainly, asset misappropriation, corruption and financial statement fraud. Local Fraud Case Study 1. The court heard that the duo, who were in charge of processing SSBC members' loans, deposits, withdrawals and the like, worked together for 6 years to swindle their employer out of 5,111,828 Singapore dollars by forging thousands of letters, forms and records, and doctoring accounts. Both fraudsters used the personal details of friends and family members to set up phantom accounts to facilitate the cheating, and help themselves to cash kept behind the counter. None of the money they stole has been recovered. SSBC suffered a staggering loss of 5,111,828 Singapore dollars, which constitute the life savings of its members, DPP Chin added. The women, motivated by greed, treated the SSBC's funds as their own personal slush fund. They systematically and persistently grossly abused their positions of trust by reaching into the coffers to feed an extravagant lifestyle beyond their means, committing a whole gamut of criminal offenses along the way, the prosecutor said. Local Fraud Case Study 2. Asset misappropriation. A subsidiary of Dynamac Holdings, defrauded by a HR manager, P. $1.03 million, 2015 to 2016, an offshore platform and oil and gas plant construction company. Payroll schemes. Falsified wages added on non-entitled allowance such as transport, training, reimbursements, which are non-CPF or taxable income, so that total taxable income remain the same. Ghost employees reactivated and changed the 2 resigned staff profiles. Generated the consolidated payroll listing of all staff and sent it to a bank, then alter the listing before printing it out for approval by the firm. Once the salaries had been paid, P would cancel the changes she had made. However, all these changes were recorded in the payroll system's audit trail. Discovered only after the HR manager resignation, the new HR manager unable to reconcile the difference. Behavior red flags. P used the money to gamble at Resorts World Sentosa and Marina Bay Sands casinos, repay a debt to a friend, and to pay unlicensed moneylenders from whom she had taken loans to fund her gambling habit. Prior to this, she had convictions for cheating in 2004 and forgery in 2005.
Behavior red flags.
Fraudulent behavior red flags statistics. Living beyond means 45.8%. Financial difficulties 30%. Unusual close relationship with vendor or customer 20.1%. Addiction problem 10%.
Data analytics fraud detection.
Binford's Law is a useful tool for data analytics of patterns for effective detection of fraudulent transactions. In the United States, evidence based on Binford's Law has been admitted in criminal cases at the federal, state, and local levels. Binford's Law is adopted in computer-assisted audit technique (CAAT) applications, including ACL, IDEA, Excel, etc.
In the 1880s, astronomer Simon Newcomb, who used tables from logarithm books to multiply large numbers, noticed that the earlier pages of his tables, the pages containing the lower digits 1, 2, and 3, were more worn than the pages with the higher numbers 7, 8, and 9. He thought that was an interesting observation and published a paper on it. As a physicist, his data set included the surface areas of 335 rivers, the sizes of 3,259 U.S. populations, 104 physical constants, 1,800 molecular weights, 5,000 entries from a mathematical handbook, 308 numbers contained in an issue of Reader's Digest, the street addresses of the first 342 persons listed in American Men of Science, and 418 death rates.
Binford's Law normal distribution curve. Binford's Law applications. Dr. Mark Nigrini. In 1992, Nigrini shows the widespread applicability of Binford's Law and its practical uses to detect fraud, errors, and other anomalies, including vendor fraud, payroll fraud, mergers and acquisitions, due diligence when purchasing a business, tax evasion, financial statement fraud, Enron, AIG, and companies that were the target of hedge fund short sales, Madoff's Ponzi schemes. Constraints in using Binford's Law. Natural numeric data. Not restricted by minimum or maximum numbers, for example below or above $5,000 invoice amount. Not assigned numbers, such as telephone numbers, address numbers, car license plate numbers, bank account numbers, etc.
Forensic audit case study.
Forensic audit case study red flags. Missing documents, incoming, outgoing checks. Missing bank statements and reconciliation statements, requested certified true copy of bank statements. Payment vouchers, with repeated amendments for numerous canceled checks. Missing receipts. Benford's law first digit test of the dataset test observed that the actual number 2 and 9 distributions vastly deviated from the Benford's law normal distribution curve. These analytics highlighted for further fact study and investigation. Followed by further fact study and investigations, Benford's law data analytics led us to breakthrough discovery of forgery of check signatories and unrecorded cash sales. Thank you very much for your attention, and hopefully with this session, you would learn something useful in your daily life to protect the company working with, yourself, your fellow colleagues, or your loved ones from fraud. WMB Consultancy LLP appreciates your precious time with us. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel for more updates.